Hello again, and welcome to this video. In this video I wanted to talk a little bit about color. I'm going to focus on selecting values of colors rather than talking about color schemes like complementary, split complementary, etc. Because so many people have already made good videos on that. Instead of that, I'm focusing on values of color. What I mean by that is when you're painting in black and white, you want to plan your values according to the color you want, especially if you're planning to go from black and white to color. A lot of my paintings, when I put a color layer on them, the colors look totally wrong, muddy, or too extremely bright. And that comes from picking the wrong values early on. So it's important to remember the brightness and the saturation you want in your end product. And a quick way to easily transfer your colors from black and white or from black and white to color, from color to black and white. So if you want to start off doing a black and white painting and you're going to go to color, you can look at your color wheel, triangle, or whatever you use, and click on the color that you want, and then look at it on the black and white scale. So where does it lie? What is its value? And paint it in that value. So that way when you go and add color to it on a color layer, it actually looks right and not muddy or too bright. And make sure to pay attention to where the color loses saturation. If you don't want to do the exact value, at least pay attention to where each color loses saturation, because that is so important for keeping your colors from looking muddy. And I've actually had that happen to me a lot of times where I'm painting a painting and I'm planning on taking it from black and white to color, but my values are extremely off, so I end up not doing it and I just leave it in black and white. And that's also why if you turn your colored paintings into black and white, why a lot of the times they look so much more realistic, because the values won't look off, basically. And of course, you're not always going to pick the perfect value, so if you don't and you mess up, just make sure to fix it on an overlayer on top of what you've already painted, and just do it in your overpainting stage. That's what I did in this one. A lot of my values were off, and so I would paint it over with the right color or right value, and then I would turn off the color layer and then go back to the black and white and fix it on that layer. And you can do either one works. When you're painting in color, even if you're using a color layer, because you've already painted in your shadows and your highlights and all that, it's still really important to change the hue of your color for each color, because that keeps it from looking so uniform and so flat, so cartoony kind of. Like real life has cool shadows and warm highlights or enlightened areas, and that's typically for the general lighting environment, because the sun is warm and most lights that we have are warm. But if you have a cool light, it's obviously not going to be a cooler, it's not going to be a cool shadow, although it still might be a cool shadow. It really just depends on what lighting you're working on, but generally it's warm highlights and enlightened areas and then cool shadows. And that's all I can really say about color, because I don't know too much about color. I've only been using color for so long, but I hope that this is useful to somebody and that you can apply this to your painting somehow. Well, this is really only helpful if you're using color layer, but it can still kind of help anybody who's painting in color. Hopefully many of you made it to the end of the video, because I wanted to say this. I don't really know what to paint for these videos, and I really like doing character art like this in a kind of concept format. So I was thinking that if you comment a cool or weird concept for a character, I could paint it and make a video on it. I think that would be a lot of fun. So throw me your characters, your OCs, your little vampire, and your angels, and your mix of anime from this and that, and maybe I'll do it. I think that would be a lot of fun. So the more comments, the better. So please comment. Like, it's dry over here. And finally, that is all. Thank you for watching, visiting, skipping through, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It does. But thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.